The Telegraph have reported Amadou Onana as a potential target for Newcastle United. They also labelled Onana as unsettled at Goodison Park, which I found very hard to believe. Given Onana's recent interviews, it seems he's happy at Goodison Park and there's no reason for him to leave, especially not in January. Now, the first thing that comes to mind in this transfer is FFP, and for both teams. Newcastle obviously struggling with FFP and need to sell to buy. Everton in the exact same case. With the departure of Danjuma imminent, it's mandatory that Everton get a winger in, and to get a winger in, I think we need to sell someone. The Telegraph report that there is a solution to the FFP troubles, and an upfront cost of £50 million for Amadou Onana in January is unlikely for Newcastle, so the option is a loan with an obligation to buy. Everton guaranteed money in the summer, but lose their arguably best player for 6 months of the season, and without any upfront payments, although it does free up some space for FFP and potentially room to sign another winger and even a replacement midfielder. So the dilemma is, do Everton take the hit and lose one of the best players to reinvest somewhere, or wait till summer and hope for a bidding war, or in any case Onana stays at Everton? The alleged valuation is £50 million, which I think is way too low. Obviously, if you look at Lavia, Caicedo, who went for stupid money, Onana's got to be valued higher than that. In Tellwell's stint as director of football at Everton, he's showed that he's held his ground and stuck out for transfer fees. So I don't think this will be any different. Now, different sources are reporting different valuations, one of which is reporting £60-65 million, which is probably the fee most Everton fans have seen. But I don't think it's just going to be Newcastle who are interested in Onana. At £50 million, he's a steal for anyone. Previously, Chelsea, Arsenal and clubs like that have been interested, pretty much every big six club. But if he does go in January, how big of a miss is he for Everton? Without going in depth on analysis and stats, he wins the ball, he works hard, and he's all over the pitch, really. But on paper, that shouldn't be too hard to replace. But the value Onana holds at Everton is his potential. He's only young and eventually will be one of the best midfielders in the league. Very rare that we see Everton replace someone as soon as someone goes out the door. But in an ideal world, I'd love Calvin Phillips on a 6-month loan, which is obviously not going to happen. But if he does go, an option is Martin Frendrup, who plays for Genoa, who are also owned by 777, so it could make a deal a bit easier. On paper, he's similar to Onana, defensive-minded midfielder. He's only young, he's 22 and valued at €10 million, which any deal will probably be around £50 million. Now, Frendrup has said his dream is to play at Anfield, but hopefully be in a blue shirt. If the Onana deal goes in Newcastle's favour, Everton could really do with a loan and an obligation to buy. So I think the 777 connection could massively help that. Everton are low on bodies, and selling Onana, who's probably one of the best players in the team, slap bang in the middle of the season in one of the most challenging seasons to date, would be stupid in my opinion. With a 10-point deduction and potentially another one on the way, we can't lose players as important as Onana now. So in my opinion, £50 million, way too low, and any deals should be done in the summer.